President William Ruto has been criticized for abolishing the mandatory extra vetting for all applicants of identification documents in border communities. Now, some see the move, which has been viewed by pundits as a political scheme to woo northeastern voters out of the 2027 election, as a grave mistake that exposes the country to security threats. NTV's David Mudhoka interrogates President William Ruto's declaration that has, on the other hand, been hailed by residents and local leaders as an inclusive move that was long overdue.
On his second day of the Northeastern Region Development Tour, President William Ruto made an unprecedented decision.
Pale nyuma, vijana, watoto wa Northern Kenya waliulizwa maswali mengi, wakafanyiwa vetting, wakafanyiwa kama wao sio wa Kenya ya kawaida.
Speaking at the Orahei grounds in Wajir County, Ruto abolished the vetting requirement for all ID applicants in Northeastern that has been in place for more than 6 decades and upheld by all of his 4 predecessors.
Ile vetting ambayo imesumbua wananchi wa Northern Kenya kwa miaka 60. Leo nimesema hiyo maneno ya vetting iondolewe, ndio vijana wote wa Kenya wapate vitambulisho vile wa Kenya wengine wanapata vitambulisho bila ya matatizo.
The move was lauded by local leaders who had accompanied the president. The leaders went ahead to assure the president that the region, which has been an opposition stronghold in previous elections, will support him overwhelmingly in 2027.
Kiti ya rais, sanduku ya rais katika kaunti za wafugaji ikifika 2027, inshallah itakuwa ni ya William Samoei Ruto. Usitishwe na mambo ya 2027. Kuna kura ya kutosha hapa. Kuna kura ya kutosha hapa. Shida ilikuwa ni kupata ID. Leo umetoa hiyo vikwazo ya identity cards. Hapa ID itakuwa nyingi, kura itakuwa nyingi na itakuwa ni yako, Mheshimiwa Rais.
Sisi tumesema ya kwamba tutasimama na yeye 100% na tushirikane na rais wetu bila kuchoka, bila wasiwasi yoyote. Tukifika 2027 tuwe pamoja na yeye. Tuko pamoja Wajia.
Residents, most of whom have labored to get IDs, welcomed the declaration as well.
Kura zangu zitaenda kwa Rais Ruto kwa sababu ya sera yake. Sisi zamani tulikuwa tumesumbuliwa na mambo yanaitwa vetting. Kupata ID, sisi tulikuwa kama aliens ambaye wamekuwa discriminated, na sisi ni local voters wa nchi. We are the original indigenous ya hii country. Lakini kuna watu walikuwa wanatubaja na rais. All in all, tumepata rais ambaye anapenda justice, anapenda Wakenya wakuwe sawa. Na hiyo tunasema long live his excellency.
The abolishment, which comes just days after 5 chiefs were abducted by suspected Al-Shabaab militia, has also attracted criticism. Some political and security analysts claim that the move, which Ruto says will promote inclusivity and fairness, will do the country more harm than good. Former General Service Unit Officer George Musamali is one of the analysts who have protested the move to remove mandatory rigorous vetting for residents of Northeastern, which shares porous borders with Somalia, where the Al-Shabaab terror group operates. Musamali states, and I quote, "The abolishment poses a serious security threat to the country, especially coming from the Al-Shabaab and their sympathizers. It will be easy for criminals to get identification and operate legally within our borders. Sleeper cells will easily penetrate our borders." The security consultant adds, and I quote, "This will also impact social, political, and economic security. We will be struggling with a population which is not Kenyan. Social infrastructure will be overstretched. The economy will be hit by supporting people who are contributing nothing. Food security will be affected. Politically, we will have voters whose only interest will be meeting personal interests." Musamali concludes by stating, and I quote, "This action by the president was not well thought out." End of quote. On his part, political analyst Fanyamambo Kinuthia has condemned Ruto for scrapping the mandatory grilling, adding that the head of state is doing so for selfish political gain in 2027 when the president will be up for re-election.
When you start haphazardly registering people from neighboring nations and giving them identity cards, what are you doing to your children? They'll be loaded over by people who are not even Kenyans. This is the danger. We are not looking at tomorrow. We are only concerned about increasing votes for 2027 because we've lost favor with Kenyans. It's that simple.
In 2022, there were over 882,000 voters registered in 5 northeastern counties. Garissa had 201,000 voters, Wajir 207,000 voters, Mandera 217,000 voters, Marsabit 166,000 voters, while Isiolo had 89,000 voters. The numbers are likely to increase ahead of the 2027 election, especially now that it is much easier for residents to apply and get IDs. Kinuthia alleges that this could provide Ruto's team an opportunity to inflate votes in the upcoming election, especially after this statement from Kapseret Member of Parliament Oscar Sudi.
Hii Kenya hakuna rais ameenda kwa miaka 5. Kwani huyu ndiye atakuwa wa kwanza? Kama tunafanya nini? Kama tumelala wapi?
Nataka wa Kenya wafanye research yao. There are some young people from a country that we know around that I'm going to mention. I don't even have to tell you. Who've been going around and selling to us kangumu and coffee. I challenge you today to take your phone and send them money via M-Pesa. They all now have national IDs and they all now have Kenyan names. I want you know them, you know the country they are coming from. Go and try. Who is giving them registration?
The analyst is calling on Kenyans to stay vigilant.
If this is their vote-getting strategy, it's a bad one. And Kenyans are going to resist. And by the way, we will live harmoniously with them. We will stay in peace with them. Lakini naambia Wakenya wote, ikifika siku ya kura, tuna-identify mtu, tunamwambia kwa heshima, toka tu kwa line. You will not determine for us our president. We know you. We haven't seen you in any primary school in Kenya. You didn't go to any high school in Kenya. You don't even speak Kiswahili. You are saying you're a citizen. We will not touch you. We will not beat you. Lakini kwa heshima, hautapiga kura. That is all. You register them the way they want.
While critics of the government call President William Ruto's declaration a ticking time bomb, residents of northeastern Kenya have termed the move a much welcome decision that will have a positive impact in the marginalized region in the years to come. David Muthoka, NTV, Nairobi.
The government